nailed it. Wow, what a turnout. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second to last session of the day, I believe. This one's going to be pretty good. We have an incredible panel in store for you. So we have Aaron from Vamp, who's one of the co-founders of the influencer platform Vamp. We have Grace, sorry, it's been a long day. Grace Fung from Coty. We have Flora from TikTok. And we also have Maddie from Edelman. So what a full suite of panelists. They're going to be talking about the biggest question, which is what's in store for the future of influencer marketing. As always, any questions that you have, please submit them through the app because we will be filtering them and monitoring them through there, and we'll have a chance for a quick Q&A at the end. So please give our panelists a really warm welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Hello everybody. All right, so yeah, we're going to be discussing the future of influencer marketing. I'm going to start quite broad and ask the panel some questions. I think we're going to do 20 minutes of question time up here, and then 10 minutes of question time from all of you to wrap up the session. All right, first question to kick off the conversation. Oh yeah, crack the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Gotta wait for that first.
Oh, we got it.
Madeline, maybe we'll start with you. How do you see influencer marketing fitting into a brand's overall strategy in the future?
Who should start first?
For me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So how influencer fits into marketing strategies?
In the future, how do you see it fitting in?
I think they're integrated, right? Like at Edelman, we do a lot of integrated campaigns. So we work across earned media and influencer. We integrate paid. So I think that's really going to be kind of the future, I guess. Gosh, I've just lost my trail of thought. Completely lost my trail of thought.
That's all right.
I knew this was going to happen.
Flora, what do you
No, I definitely agree with Maddie, and I think that they're already integrated, and I think the future is only going to integrate them a lot more as well. I think that 360 campaigns now are so important, and I think it just should be kind of like a hygiene factor that everybody includes in their marketing strategies. Whatever the brand, I think there is a way that influencers can and will work for you.
From the brand side, we always have to measure our ROI. It's pretty much very data-driven in order to get more influencer marketing budget. Like we've already said before, it's all integrated. It cannot be a silo department. A lot of the campaign would have started from sometimes an influencer marketing messaging, but it needs to also flow through e-com, media, and obviously like point of sale as well. Experiential is very key also. So it's just always changing.
And then how do you see, I guess, the evolution of those partnerships evolving too with influencers?
Yeah, I was thinking about it on the way. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes you think, that's not my favorite part of the job, but it is very important, data. So if you think like data is your trainers, your equipment, long-term partnership would be like the run. Yes. So long-term partnership is really key. So in order to kind of go back to like, it's not a sprint, it's not trying to find the influencer that's most popular or most on trend at the moment and just jump on the bandwagon, is really think through what does the influencer represent in terms of their values, their aesthetics, whether it would fit the brand itself. In order to do that, you have to build a relationship. So I can only speak from an in-house point of view, and when it comes to longer-term partnership, in-house influencer marketing, in my point of view, it's going to be even more important because that's where you can really grow that relationship. And through that, you can then have the next thing, which is the always on. Yeah. Having that long-term partnership means thinking about like, for me, I'm already thinking about Valentine's Day. And then I haven't even finished Christmas. Yeah. So this is how you do. And it going back to what where our background is, PR. We always kind of think ahead, and I think that really translates into influencer marketing.
Laura, Madeline, anything you guys agree?
I mean, I think it's going to be quite a boring panel because I think we're just going to end up agreeing all the time. But no, I totally agree. I think that the long-term partnerships and building out kind of more of those is going to be really, really huge. I think at the moment we do still see a lot of those kind of one-off partnerships and maybe brands coming and trying, working with influencers and creators on various platforms and giving it a go and maybe doing like a one-off post. But actually what kind of creates that impact and creates that engagement is actually those longer-term partnerships. And when you can see that the creator really resonates with that brand and the brand kind of really resonates back with them. I think that's the future, is kind of a more engaged for everyone.
I think, I was just going to say, to continue learning from the audience as well, like looking at the comments, looking at the sentiment, seeing what works for their audience, listening to the creator and kind of really co-creating with them, like finding the perfect equilibrium between like what your brand wants and also what what works for the creator and their audience. And in those long-term partnerships, you can really kind of establish that.
I had a kind of question, Grace, is probably more relevant for you. But I guess like we've obviously seen creators producing their own products, and I guess beauty as a vertical is competitive. There's a lot of kind of products, and if you look at kind of Cody's suite of brands, how do you kind of look at in the future, I guess, essentially your marketing channel almost becoming like a competitive set with creators producing their own products and brands as well?
I mean, it's harder when it comes to from a luxe point of view, because there is still a certain level of kind of like protecting the brand's DNA. It probably will be a bit easier if it's kind of more like a mass brands or like a mass beauty brand. You can see more and more collaboration, co-creation, and I think it's great because you're already tapping in the audience that would resonate with the creators' style and what they stand for. So when you get like a really great collaboration, that's when it really works. From a luxe point of view, I think it's more to do with, and I see more and more it's having the influencer or the creator being part of the campaign more and more. I have personally worked with influencers last year, and then the brand or the fashion house then pick up the fact that this is the person that locally that you have worked with, and that person became part of the campaign, which is quite an authentic graduation of being an influencer into the actual luxury or fashion brand world.
And then I was going to say, like, I guess from a platform perspective, like, especially with TikTok, like, is there kind of things that they're building? Like, it's almost like they've got a 360-degree view of the platform, right? So is there things that they're doing to enable creators more on the platform, stuff that you can share for future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously for TikTok, creators are the lifeblood of our platform, and they are so, so important for us. So I think that what are we building? There's lots going on. We have our creator marketplace, which is kind of a fantastic place to start if you are a brand or an agency looking to work with creators and you don't really know where to start. I think sometimes TikTok can be really overwhelming when you kind of first go on the app and you're maybe used to seeing everyone's face in a little circle or a little square. And actually, the TikTok creator marketplace kind of brings it back to that, and you can really go on there, you can go through creators, you can see what they're creating about, who would really resonate with your brand, and who is relevant for you to work with. So I think that's just kind of one of the many things that we're working on that I think will make things a lot easier. But there's lots to come. Obviously, 2022 and beyond will be exciting as always.
And then what about this kind of idea of, I guess, personalities versus content? Because I guess Instagram kind of was like, beautiful imagery, and kind of TikTok is very much like fun and engaging content. So I guess now from a brand perspective and some of the stuff that you guys do at Edelman, is it more about the personality now across both those platforms? Like, what are some of the things that you kind of tell brands to look out for?
I think it completely depends on the brand, the campaign, and kind of that sort of thing. Like some personalities, like you follow some people purely for their personality. Their content may be like a little bit shaky, but like them as a person, you massively invest in them. Whereas other people, you invest in their content, right? So maybe it's a person who's taking loads of pictures of food on Instagram, and it's like, I need to go to that restaurant, and it's less about that persona, and it's more about the content they're producing. So it really depends on kind of like the campaign, the objectives, the goals, what the client wants, kind of, I think either or really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have worked with TikTok already quite a few times in the past year and a half. I want to say too much, but never too much. And also Instagram is, our bread and butter. But like with TikTok, it is about having fun. It's about showing the brand's fun side. We quite like the brand fund influencer content, so that's why we do challenges with TikTok. Really, for that part is to get awareness, to get people into the concept and ideas. So one thing that probably people might have picked up is when we launched Marc Jacobs Perfect last year, we worked with you guys for the first time, and we did the TikTok challenge, so to show their authentic self. So when it comes to messaging, TikTok was the perfect platform to launch that value. But then when it comes to Instagram, we might use it for anything more behind the scenes, if we do, or maybe more curated content. Video like sometimes like video would be much better if it's like an IGTV that we would use that. So Maddie said, it depends on where you are at the plan and the strategy. You might want to go big on TikTok first to get that burst of awareness, and then you go into Instagram for the beautiful curation, then you can use it for your later Christmas gifting, paid boosting content, and then that's how you kind of like using that as a cross-channel function.
And I think kind of from a TikTok point of view, in terms of, personality versus content, I think on TikTok, both are really, really important. We have some, amazing kind of really high quality content. And we have also, like you said, kind of more personality-based content that you might not necessarily see and go, wow, what an amazing piece of content. It might be really simple, it might be really short, but it still does really, really well. But I think kind of what does link the two is even that kind of really amazing content pieces. We have, lots of content at the moment that's kind of, wow, you must go and visit this kind of secret exhibition in London, or, food, etc. Like really, really beautiful content, but actually, you still can see the person behind it. There is still a personality, and I think for TikTok, that's what really, really is important. People want to now, trust in that person. If they're going to put their kind of trust and engage with that creator, then they want to know who it is, and they don't just want it to be on TikTok, I think, just a stunning video. They want to see, hey, this is a real person who's really recommended it, and, I can see them going out and doing their food shop or whatever it is that they also might create content about. So you really can put that trust in that person.
And do you guys still see the power middle kind of being a very sought after influencer category? Do you see that broaden in the future? I guess there's been always so much talk around kind of nano, micro, that sort of smaller end sphere of creators. Do you see that continuing? Do you see that kind of changing?
I think like the best campaigns that we've worked on are when they're kind of mixed, right? So you have different layers. You work maybe with a macro influencer, you work with mid-tier influencers, and you work with micro influencers. And working across those layers, you're kind of reaching a much wider variety of audience. Your macro influencer, okay, they're going to really push your campaign. They're probably going to get earned media pull because they're naturally getting like organic mentions within media, and that's going to really project your earned media strategy. But then your micro influencers obviously often get more engagement, so they're really engaging with their communities. So I think it's working through the spectrum rather than singling out a specific group of people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And I think also when you actually activate these influencers, that famous pyramid, you obviously have your big name talent launching a campaign, everybody knows about it, and then you move on to your macro where they can be like more the localized talent, and then you have your mid-tier that could create gorgeous, beautiful content. Because from my point of view, like we only work with people with a certain creative skill set. They don't necessarily be like someone that's just beautiful or good looking. They have to have something to say, or they might be very good at something, whether they are good at photography or, or pottery or illustration. So they all have something to say, and that forms the mid-tier ones. And then the micro one as well is very key during maybe like your key selling period, then you really want to get a lot of good reviews out there, or maybe these are the micro influencers you want to work with retailers. That could be a very good strategy because they can really get the purchasing messaging across. And I think also depends on the budget as well. Obviously, you've got a lot of budget, then you can have all of that. So even for us, sometimes the brands, each brand will have different budget, even though sometimes people don't think that. They think every single brand has amazing budget. We do have small budget, then we have to adjust accordingly. It could be just all micro-influencers because we needed to get that reach out there. So it's always different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this panel, guys. I feel like we're just agreeing with them. We're all just saying the same thing, but in a slightly different way. But I think from a TikTok perspective, again, like, you know, the number one thing I say to brands is the follower count on TikTok, it doesn't matter. It's not the same as other platforms. We don't work the same way. You know, you can come on, you can work with those really big TikTokers, and, you know, definitely there's appetite, and, you know, there's reason why you should. But also, those who have smaller followings, they can still get up to the same reach, the same engagement as those with the larger followings. So I think on TikTok, you really, really have to kind of take a step back from everything you kind of know about normal influencer marketing, and really kind of reevaluate and think, what's the most important thing for me, and whose content resonates, and who's making amazing content that I think would be able to make an amazing piece of content for my brand or about my product, or is already talking about my product, because that's kind of the way that you're really going to infiltrate TikTok, and that's the way that you're really kind of going to reach engagement, rather than just kind of playing a numbers game in terms of followers.
Then, of course, there's a big conversation around the transparency piece. So how should brands and creators be approaching that in the future about paid promotions? And
I think they should be so transparent, like, yeah.
Yeah, we love transparency. I think the other thing as well, you know, I think we turned a corner in, I think, transparency and, you know, hashtag ad in the days where, you know, kind of, oh gosh, should I hide it? Should I not do it? Should I not put it up? I think now audiences and you know, consumers, when they're looking at it, actually they're super happy for their favorite influencers and creators, you know, to be doing an ad. They really support them. If it's a brand that works for them, if it's brands that resonates with their audience, you can see that in the comments, you can see that in the engagement. Also, I think, you know, what's really important is, you know, making sure it's a piece of content that people are going to enjoy. So yes, it's an ad. Yes, people are knowing it's an ad. They want to be able to see it's an ad. We can all spot one now. But actually, you know, making that ad something enjoyable and something that people do want to watch, I think is, you know, so important.
Yeah, the thing is, particularly that's why it's great to have a long-term partnership, because it will come across, and it is more authentic in a sense that some of the influencers that we work with, we didn't start out doing paid partnership. We always invite them to an event, or we might meet up with them for coffee. We just want to gauge what they like. There are the good influencers out there who turn down brands that we manage, and we have more respect with these people, with these influencers, because they know what works for their audience. And when that happens, then you have paid partnership, which really, for their audience, we think, okay, there is a synergy between the brand. They might do added value content when they're not doing any paid content. So when you see it, it just comes across a lot stronger. I also hear a lot of influencers like to do paid content as ad breaks, because they might be doing things like IG Live, Ask Me Anything, and they will always say, I would then put your paid partnership content in between, because their audience would be more engaged, because they think, okay, that's an ad break. And that's what I've learned from them. So the other thing is, you do learn a lot from influencers that you have a good relationship with as well.
do you see a place for kind of virtual and CGI influencers in that mix in the future?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think the good thing about CGI influencers is anyone can do it, right? And I think people really love to learn new things. And CGI is something that someone can just like sit in their bedroom as they're like, I don't know, at university, and they can kind of have it as a side project or a side hustle. And I think definitely, I think it's not new. Like gorillas have been doing this since like whenever. So like, I don't think it's anything new. I think it's just going to probably become more mainstream.
Yeah, I think that they're here to stay. I think they're great. I don't think they're ever going to take over from, you know, real life creators and real life influencers. But I think that they are fantastic to kind of add into the mix, especially from a brand perspective. I think, you know, to a certain extent, they're a lot more malleable than maybe a person might be, which I think has its pros and cons. But yeah, I definitely think that they're here to stay, but they're not going to replace kind of the traditional influencer creator.
I don't think they will replace that either. It's just a different character. It's like sometimes there are influencers out there that plays a character. There's an influencer called Checking Invoices. You never see her face or their face. It could be more than one person behind the mask, but that is similar in my mind to a CGI influencer. It's just a character, and if that's something that the brand can actually align with, then it's great. Don't ever force anything that's not natural, I think.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, now that it's become a much more, I guess, performance-driven channel that we can report on sales, how do you see kind of data forming, or at least, I guess, forming the kind of planning stage of influencer marketing moving forward? How do you see that playing in? What are some of the key metrics you think brands are using to plan out their campaigns more effectively?
Yeah, that's every day. Every single campaign, it will have to, we collect, if it's a paid partnership, we always collect all the stats, right, from your influencers. More and more, we do at least collect the shares. I like the fact that a lot of people don't take shares into consideration because I love to save a lot of content myself on my Instagram, the necklace that I bought on Instagram, by the way, sorry. And also clicks as well. We do a lot of swipe ups. Well, no more swipe ups now, it's just a sticker. More work for all of us. But that's something that you can really tangibly trace the user, the purchasing journey, because you don't expect when you see a piece of content that would lead to a sale. But sometimes if there's even a consideration, at least you know which influencers will actually help whenever they post. People will click on the swipe up. They will do the conversion. And it's because their content drives conversion. Then you know whether that influencer that you want to work with is for conversion, whether another influencer that you work with is purely for engagement because they create beautiful content. We have people that we work with, they create such beautiful content, but people don't normally, but then we will use it for maybe amplification because it's such a beautiful piece of content. So I think data is absolutely key in that sense.
I think also like affiliate marketing, right? I think giving influencers a share of what they're earning kind of inspires them to kind of like push it further than if they weren't. So I think affiliate marketing, you can also track that data. You can see kind of like the purchase journey, the consideration. So yeah, I think affiliate marketing alongside kind of your key metrics as well that you get from the platforms.
I have to, this is the other thing that's always been, a mystery, is how much do you charge? How much do you pay for a partnership? There isn't a way. There isn't, every time, even you work with the same influencer, you could be paying this much last time and another fee the next time. So I don't know where this is going. Every influencer, even the influencers, especially with agents, sometimes different ones, they might ask for different amounts. Yeah. But for us, you have to be fair. When I work with 10 influencers and I know their metrics, I need to be fair in the sense that I can't pay someone more because someone asked for more. So you just have to be honest and transparent from a brand's point of view and not be scared because someone just pressure you to, pay more. What the reason behind paying more is maybe because they need to go somewhere to do a shoot. Maybe they have to commission someone else to create an outfit. So maybe that you have to absolutely take that into consideration. But that's part of the fun of the job, and also sometimes not so much fun.
One last question, because then I think we can take some questions from the audience. But the other thing I was going to mention is just how do you see kind of brands lean on creators more in the future? We've seen creators becoming creative directors inside organisations. How do you see that forming in the future?
Well, I think COVID kind of showed that creators are more than just like using to push a message, right? Like when shoots were like a near no-go because no one could actually do shoots, brands were sending influencer products and then using that content on their websites and everything like that. So I think they're going to be more integrated into that. And also seeing influencers as consultants, right? Like they are producing content. They know exactly what their audience want and kind of listening to them. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes also you might have like a bigger strategy, but each of the influencers that you work with, going back to long-term partnership, is more bespoke content, collaboration. So they might have an idea in mind, try and make it work because you don't know where that's going to take you. I mean, the future also is we might have to use influencer more for your live streaming, live shopping, social commerce. That's going to be even a lot more visible, I think, next year. I can already feel like this is part of what I'm doing day to day for the second half of this year. So I don't think it's going to go away.
I agree.
All right, we've got 5 minutes left, so should we answer some of these questions from Flora? There's one for you there on the creator marketplace.
Yes. Can I go into more detail on the creator marketplace? Oh, wow. Yes, I can go into more detail on Creator Marketplace. So Creator Marketplace, anyone can sign up if you are a brand or an agency. You can just head over to the website and sign up. That way, you just have to put in your business credentials. It's totally free to use, so just head over there and sign up. As a influencer or creator, you can turn your TikTok account into a creator account. It's just in your settings. And if you have over 100,000 followers, you will get an invitation to self-apply for the marketplace. It will take sort of 48 hours to go through, and you do have to be over the age of 18. So those are the requirements, but it's all kind of done through app if you have hit that 100K. If you are a brand or an agency looking to work with creators and they maybe are slightly under, then talk to your whoever you're working with at TikTok and see if there's anything that they can do to kind of get them on the list. But that's the creator marketplace, if anyone has any more questions. I think that's answered that.
This is a tough one. What's the worst influencer marketing campaign you've worked on and why? No names.
I think I'll politely sidestep that one, but if anybody else wants to take one. I think we've all been on some journeys, but we've all got a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like worse. It's just things like sometimes you can see when you work with different types of influencers, there are always people that just go above and beyond, and then there's others who just do the bare minimum. Or sometimes they come up with really funny excuses, like obviously name no names. For example, you need to go to do a content outside in blue sky and grass. They would say, well, the closest area that I can do is if I have to hire a car and go 50 miles out. And we had to actually do a map, and we know where that person lived, and said, within 2 minutes, there's a park with some grass. Can you please just go over there and do it? So you just can, for me, as the brand side, you're wasting my time. Yep. You could have done it yourself, but that's not the worst, but just a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
I think another one of those questions as well was I think it popped up and I read it and it said something about what's your kind of the creators that you look to work with, or like what's the good qualities in creators, which I think leads on from what you were saying, Grace, which I think is just being really nice and being polite. I think that goes a lot further in influencer marketing than some people realize. And I think working with creators who really want to be there and really want to be doing that job and really enjoy it really kind of goes a long way. And you can 100% tell. And those are the people that I think we all probably come back and work with time and time again.
This is quite a good one. How can brands ensure influencer marketing is included in the planning stages of more multi-channel campaigns?
Our brands can ensure.
Like the planning, I guess you've got to have an advocate internally, but I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a really hard question because it's it's so dependent on kind of what your role is and where the influencer person in that team sits, and kind of if they know about it from the get-go, they can obviously push influencer. But if a lot of the time brands will come to us and they say, we have this campaign, we've been planning it for a year or however long, and then it's all of a sudden at the end of the campaign they're like, oh, we need influencers, can you do something? And it's well, you could have brought us in much earlier. And it's I think that education piece, and you think every brand knows how to work with influencers, but I think that education is still needed with some brands.
I think it's easier from an in-house point of view because if the in-house setup is integrated, you're already integrated in that donut, right? So every time you do, you have your marketing media spend, you have your e-com strategy, you have your IM strategy, you have then your kind of point of sale merchandising. So you're already part of the funnel. So you're in all the conversation from day one. For those who are not, then I think it's just you need to start thinking about integrating it.
This one's been 12 times, so I feel like we should answer it. But as brands are developing and growing, focusing on their in-house influencer marketing teams, how relevant do you think influencer agencies will be in the future?
I think there'll always be a relevancy for agencies, 100%. I think that there will always be campaigns and things that they can really do and really, really focus on. I think, a lot of our partners are here today, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the campaigns and do a lot of the work that we do because they are so fabulous and just amazing at what they do. And it is, the whole influencer marketing kind of sphere is just relationships, and it's all working together. And I think that 100% influencer agencies are here to stay. They're very important. Brands are always popping up and developing and growing, so that's not going to stop. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in-house, and we have extended, we call it extended family, whether they're influencer agencies or agents. We have really strong relationship with agents as well, and you have to build that relationship. So it's just different ways of working. When you have big experiential event, then definitely tap into an agency, because I'm a team of 3, can't really do something, what it requires 50, 60 influencers. So it depends on the project itself. I don't think, it's going to be like this or that, either or.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just going to say that, like, it's like saying PR, right? Like, there's still PR agencies that exist. Like, Edelman was founded as a PR agency, and now we're comms, digital, creative. And I think that it's not going to be the death of them because people are doing it in-house. I think people like to outsource certain aspects of that. And yeah, I think PR is an example of that. PR agencies still exist. Influencer agencies are still going to exist.
That's it. We're out of time. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have that water now.
Aaron, you did my job for me.
Oh, did I?
Thank you.
It's okay. Give you a
No,
break.
yeah, you gave me a break. It's been a long day. Thank you so much, everyone. That was really, really useful. Just as a quick heads up, at 4:30 we have a brand new format, which is a live forum, and it's a Q&A to ask the experts anything within reason. And we have Rahul from Ogilvy, we have Anna from Condé Nast, and we also have the wonderful Lauren from Made.com. So it's going to be a really, really good session. So we'll see you here in 20 minutes. Thank you.